This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Legends of Dragonore, the Bruckteror Cave Men, the Savage Grunt. It includes 2 parts of the Divine Armor of Power. Well, as we know, it's like only the Witch that really came with 2 parts, unless you count the parts that come apart on the armor pieces to be 2 parts, but that's a whole different thing. The cavemen have brought up a bit of controversy with this series, specifically this guy and the 3-pack. I'm going to show it to you guys right now. I got the 3-pack, and you'll notice that the caveman on the left side is exactly the same as the cavemen in the single pack, which is problematic for a lot of people, which I agree with, to be honest with you. This may be one of the few mistakes that the guys at Formo Toys have made, and it's a pretty bad one in my opinion, because honestly they either needed to do a different head sculpt, which honestly would have been the best thing, was to give us a 4th head sculpt, or at least put this guy in a different outfit, because as you can see with the caveman on the right side of the package, he is wearing a different tunic than the other one is, or than the one on the left. So if they had at least given him the different tunic, you wouldn't have 2 distinctly same characters, figures, whatever. And you need to get the single one in order to get the piece of the armor. And then if you wanted to get these guys to expand your troops, yeah. But that's why I said they either needed to give him a different head or at least given him the other tunic that they have, but they didn't. And that, like I said, is a huge mistake on their part. I mean, it was honestly just a dumb fucking decision, especially when the fans of this line started complaining about it online. Like, you still had time to change it then, I would say, but you didn't. And I'm sorry, but I'm just going to straight out say it was a dumb decision to make. Especially when you consider how expensive these figures are to start with. So anyway, let's take a look at the back of the box here. The Bruckteror Cave Men, the Savage Grunt. Homeworld, Rupstra. Special abilities, Brute Force. Weapons of choice, closest stick or stone. Although he does come with a mace. Possessing limited intelligence and originating from a mysterious prehistoric world, the ferocious cavemen were the perfect candidates for Oskuro to enslave with his evil power. The twisted mage had many tribes to choose from. With him already having enslaved the crew Bruckterors, Oskuro's plan was to take the tribe through the Well of Secrets and deceive the rulers of Edimayan. He mused that the rulers would be fooled into believing themselves to be in imminent danger by invading interdimensional forces. Oskuro believed that the cavemen, whom he considered disposable, could be used for dangerous missions, facing fierce opponents such as the mighty Scorchwing in the Rihan forest of Botanica. The cavemen indeed proved to be an important part of Oskuro's plan as they marched towards the forest with unwavering obedience, armed with torches ready to burn it to the ground. However, the cavemen and the overseeing Oskuro had not prepared for the arrival of Barbaro and his allies. Alright, so each figure comes with 1 or 2 parts of the Divine Armor of Power. Collect them all and connect them to form the Unstoppable Divine Armor of Power. As part of this wave, we have Venetica, Chief Talon, Arborios, Terrator, the Bruckteror Cave Men, and Horde. Horde is still my favorite in this wave, and then Venetica. Especially since they used a different body than they used for Yandara and Panthora. But anyway, let's go ahead and open this guy up. Let's see if there's any loose spots on the seams here. There is not, so we will actually have to cut into this one. Oh wait, I found a loose seam, never mind. I just want to say, look how nicely that came off of there. And again, super thick plastic. Heavy duty plastic here. Like, they are doing an excellent job with the packaging. Like, too good, really, when you get right down to it. Because you don't want to, like, throw it away. He's got bare feet, by the way. And he comes with 2 weapons in bright orange. I think this is one of those things that they could probably change in this line a bit. Maybe stop using the really bright colors for all the weapons. There's no reason why this could have been, like, maybe a gray or this a brown, or both of them could have been brown. Would make more sense since this is supposed to be wood, the wooden club of some sort. I'm not sure what's all wrapped around there. There's like little spiky parts here, which, I mean, honestly could have been carved in and stuck on there. But it's also wrapped around there, so I wonder if there's supposed to be like maybe teeth of something. And then this could be a rock dagger, or again, it could be like a giant tooth from like a saber-toothed tiger type of thing. We also have another piece of the divine armor here. Just for reference real quick. You know, you can connect it onto there, and the Bruckteror Cave Men here could actually be putting on the divine armor, which I'm sure would piss off a lot of the other characters. But we'll set that aside, as we will do a review of the entire armor when we get it all together. We also have our little informational book here, which kind of wish I'd already opened. Bruckteror Cave Men here, and you can see on the opposite side of that page, you can see all the parts that come off. The cloth, loincloth, and the tunic. Again, they really should have given either this guy a different tunic, the other tunic that they had, or given the one in the 3-pack the other tunic. This was just a bad idea. Possessing limited intelligence and originating from a mysterious prehistoric world, the ferocious cavemen were the perfect candidates for Oskuro to enslave with his evil power. The twisted mage had many tribes to choose from, with him already having enslaved the cruel Bruckterors. Alright, so this is an issue I had with the back of the box too, and I didn't say it then, but I'll say it now. That's really badly worried. That's very badly worded. It should have been something like, the twisted mage had many tribes to choose from, and he chose to enslave the cruel Bruckterors first, or something like that. That would make more sense than what was actually said here. Also note, we have like 4 different head designs, it looks like, just from this picture alone. So really, we should have gotten a different head on that one. Oskuro's plan was to take the tribe through the Well of Secrets and deceive the rulers of Ediman. He mused that the rulers would be fooled into believing themselves to be in imminent danger by invading interdimensional forces. Oskuro believed that the cavemen, whom he considered disposable, could be used for dangerous missions, facing fierce opponents, such as the mighty Scorchwing in the Rehon forest of Botanica. The cavemen indeed proved to be an important part of Oskuro's plan as they marched towards the forest with unwavering obedience, armed with torches and ready to burn it to the ground. However, the cavemen and the overseeing Oskuro had not prepared for the arrival of Barbaro and his allies. Well, this is almost exactly word for word what the back said. Like, the previous two weren't exactly the same. And with that, we of course see that we've got the Warriors of the Galaxy, which again are ones that I did not go ahead and order. I'm pretty much just sticking with the straight Legends of Dragonore figures. But let's take a look at our brother's head sculpt here, right? It is a really nicely done head sculpt. Definitely very cavemenish. Wolverine style mutton chops there, you know. The mouth is open, the teeth look pretty sharp. The tongue is painted red. Hopefully this gives a better look into it. The tongue are painted red, so are the eyes. So I don't know, like whoever at the factory had to have done a really good job. I'm guessing the red was first though. Well, the black was probably first, then the red. Or no, the red probably first, then the black when you get right down to it. And then the teeth. Super bushy eyebrows. Reminds me of a teacher I had in high school. Articulation wise. Oh. Then of course we have the armor here that comes off. In this case, obviously we have to pull off parts of the body to do it. And it is a single piece. There's no other thing holding it in place. Which honestly I kind of prefer that with something like this. Oh shit. Okay, guys. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. So they didn't even develop 2 different harnesses here for these guys. Literally, it's just a double-sided harness. So, like we saw, that one figure had the knife on his thing. So this can fit on here like that. So at least you can change that a little bit when you get the 3-pack. So you have one way and one the other way. I'm going to leave it this way. But again, I don't know. Maybe you should have packed the other one this way too. But then again, we did see at least 4 different head designs in the comic there. So maybe a head design would have been better too. You know what I mean? But again, these figures are designed to pop apart. For some reason, they did go ahead to make the belt here, skirt piece, tunic, whatever you want to call it, loincloth. Definitely not tunic. It has the little kind of thing like old He-Man figures did, which was a kind of garbage anyway. So I really don't see why they did that. It does have like the standard loincloth diaper thing that every other Legends of Dragonore has. Forearms do twist here because they come off. Forelegs twist and come off, and like we said before, very, very much compatible with different parts. So you can move all this crap around as you want, which is a cool feature, honestly. And again, I encourage you to go watch my red flags video using the Legends of Dragonore figures on my shorts page. Or maybe I should link to that this time. So anyway, the head does spin around. The arm spins. Like everything just spins that spins, right? There's no ball joints or anything like that in this figure. Waist spins, as you saw that spun. The legs can kick forward about that far and back about that far, giving him a halfway decent running pose, really. And then because there is that boot cut, or in this case, calf cut, you can spin that around. They did just mostly... Actually, wait a minute here. They did add some shadowing onto the figure here. They didn't do much on the chest, but they did the shoulders and the back on this guy. Probably because the harness was going to cover most of the front. Well, it still covers about the same amount over there, so... I don't know why they did it that way. We can put his hand there. His hand there. We can put his mace in a hand. And we can put his dagger in a hand. Now, this is something else I'm going to just complain about. There's like nowhere on this figure to hold the weapons, which is something that seems to be an ongoing issue with the Legends of Dragonore figures. Oh, and then his belt's coming loose because, you know, that whole clip thing that I hate. I think it would have been kind of nice if they had made this empty with a slot in it so you could put the dagger in there. And then just have the bone dagger sitting there. Because this actually looks more wrapped. This looks almost more technologically advanced than this does. By the way, that does look like a thigh bone right there. From something. Possibly a child. So that's our Bruckteror Cave Men, the single one, which of course comes with the leg of the divine armor. So again, this was one you needed to buy to finish the armor, part of the single 6 wave. And while I am glad to see that you can at least switch the tunic around so that it works both ways on this figure to help differentiate the one that comes in the 3-pack with the one that comes in the single pack, I think they still should have given us a different head. Maybe you could even have used the same basic face sculpt there and just added a full beard and mustache to it or something like that. Because we do know the other guy does have that beard and mustache-esque thing. And if we're being perfectly honest, I think we all know that people don't necessarily want to have duplicate figures unless they're designed to be troop builders. When it's characters that don't have like a generic face or a helmeted head sculpt where you can't see a face or most of the face, it's really hard to consider them to be troop builders. Because all you're going to have are these 4 Bruckteror Cave Men as part of your team Oskuro, right? But aside from the complaint about the head sculpts, the figure itself actually looks really well done. And again, it's that nice, firm, solid plastic. You throw this at somebody, it's gonna hurt a lot more than if you throw a Masters of the Universe figure at somebody. Just saying. I pity the fool who decides to break into my toy room while I'm in here. Woo! Throw the rattler at them. Anyway, but those are my thoughts, and I kind of want to know what you have to think about this, especially the little bit of controversy surrounding the head sculpts on these guys, which we'll go over more again once I do the review for the 3-pack, which will be after I finish the other 2 Legends of Dragonore figures. So please feel free to say something in the comments below about this, and if you want to see more of my But if you enjoy this if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to club that like button, and if you want to hear more of my nonsense in the future, you can subscribe. Perhaps you can even stab that notification bell. I thank you for watching. Peace and love.